Well, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts calling for an evaluation of how the judicial branch handles allegations of sexual harassment, saying that the courts are not immune to those problems in the workplace. Well, after California federal court judge Alex Kaczynski abruptly retired following a Washington Post story detailing several accusations of sexual misconduct.
Amid a near record cold New Year's Eve here in New York and guests at the winter White House needing fur shawls for last night's festivities, President Trump not shying away from sharing his opinion on Twitter a couple of days ago. Here's what he wrote. In the East, it could be the coldest New Year's Eve on record. Perhaps we could use a little bit of that good old global warming that our country, but not other countries, was going to pay trillions of dollars to protect against. Bundle up. Senator Elizabeth Warren firing back, saying, I'm going to say something really crazy. I believe in science. Climate change is real, and we have a moral obligation to protect this earth for our children and grandchildren. And with that, we bring in our panel. National Review contributor Julie Kelly and former Ohio Senate Minority Leader Capri Cafaro. Ladies, nice to see both of you. Capri, we've been talking a lot about how Democrats are staking an enormous amount on wanting to bring back a House majority in 2018. Right. Is climate change the right anvil to start pounding away on?
I don't think it's a winning strategy nationwide. I mean, certainly places like Ohio care more about the economy than they do about the issue of climate change. That being said, it doesn't make it not an important issue. I mean, we need to focus on that fact, but we don't need to lead with that as part of the campaign strategy. I mean, when you look at the actions taken on the Paris Accord, when you look at what's happened with the EPA, when you look at, what's happened with, walking back a lot of the evidence-based aspects of science within the Trump administration, there is cause for concern. However, that is not a winning strategy because that's not the lead thing that people care about.
Well, and the polling supports that. We're going to get to that in a minute. First, sort of for the optics of it, though, Julie, what do you make of President Trump, for lack of a better word, almost mocking Democrats and climate change right now?
I mean, I think it just shows how ridiculous this whole debate has become. It's not a scientific debate anymore. It is a political debate. And after a year of being told by the climate propagandists that every extreme weather event is due to man-made climate change, whether it was hurricanes or wildfires, now they're backing off and saying, oh, this is just weather. It's not climate. And so this is how this whole debate has devolved. I don't think it's a winning issue for votes, certainly. And I think that it's time to really examine where we're headed with this debate, because whether somebody believes in man-made climate change or not is kind of irrelevant. Well, it's how you address extreme weather conditions.
I'm wondering whether you believe in it or not being irrelevant. Let's get to the polling now in terms of where people view this as a priority. And where you are on climate change is a lot based on where you are on everything else. This is how Democrats view policy priorities. Healthcare, number one. 28% say environment and climate change is their top priority. Now look at Republicans. Climate change not even in the top four. And Capri, now we'll get to this issue of independence, that if Democrats want to win, especially Senate seats in some very contested states, West Virginia, Missouri, Michigan being among them, again, climate change is number four, with only 18% of people saying that's the most important thing.
Right. Well, the issue of climate change and the environment has never been a leading issue, as far as...
But hold on. It may not have been a leading issue in polling, but if you listen at least to the former president, he said it was one of, if not the most pressing national security issues in America.
Right. Well, again, I mean, I think that this is a matter of common sense. You can certainly believe that, climate science is important, that, climate change exists and is man-made. But again, when you focus on where I come from, in the middle of the country, places like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, West Virginia that have thrived on, industrial growth, we value investing in job creation a lot more than focusing on the environment. We see that, I think, as more of an elitist issue and one that's out of touch with mainstream America.
Julie, does the Republicans run the risk of effectively getting in the way of Democrats before they drive off the climate change cliff?
Could be. I hope that they don't get in the way of this because, climate science has a lot of problems right now. There's a lot of criticism about flawed modeling. A lot of the projections and predictions have not come true. You see this hysteria that happens every time that there's an extreme weather event. They've really backed themselves into a corner. And so I think that moving forward, there could be some collaboration on both sides, which is how to use technology to mitigate extreme weather events. I mean, I'm right now in southwestern Florida. It's amazing to see that a hurricane went through here, a major hurricane just 4 months ago. Well, and a lot of that had to do with using technology to warn people so they could protect their properties, they could get to shelters. I mean, that's where we really need to invest our money and time and stop these silly debates about who believes in man-made climate change and who doesn't. Down
in Southwest Florida right now, they're breaking out the fur coats, I hear. It's a chilly 65 degrees down there. Stay warm, Capri. It's a little bit colder in Washington where you are. So good luck today watching football. We'll talk to you all soon.
Absolutely.
Take
Happy
care,
New Year.
ladies.